I want to continue to serve in the Senate because I have faith in our democracy. I have faith in the principles of our form of government, the ability of our people to solve their own problems, to govern themselves.
Indiana has lost one of its most influential voices. Birch Bayh, a three-term senator from Indiana and author of 2 constitutional amendments, died this morning at the age of 91. The causes Birch Bayh championed in the 1960s and 70s still hold true today. From women in sports to presidential succession to voting rights, Bayh made his mark in the country all over the history books.
His legacy is really timeless. If you're voting at the age of 18, you have Birch Bayh to thank.
Before he did all that, Birch Bayh was a Hoosier. Born in Terre Haute, Bayh served in the Army just after World War II. He made his mark in state government and was elected Speaker of the Indiana House at the age of 30. But Bayh had greater ambitions. As a United States Senator from Indiana, Bayh co-authored and introduced Title IX legislation, which gives women equal opportunity to play sports in schools and universities.
I dare say without Title IX and Birch Bayh, the young women of our community and of our state and of our country would not have the same opportunities as boys have.
Bayh also co-sponsored the 1964 Civil Rights and 1965 Voting Rights Acts and wrote the 25th and 26th Amendments. The 25th formally declared that the vice president will take over running the country if anything happens to the president. The 26th gave 18-year-olds the right to vote. Bayh's political career ended in 1980 when he lost his Senate race to Dan Quayle. In his concession speech, he pushed for the public to keep their faith in government and in doing the right thing.
Don't lose faith in the fact that we still have a responsibility to help those who need to be helped. Maintain your concern, maintain your determination to make your mark and to participate in the political process of this country, and maintain your faith in the fact that if enough of us really care and work hard enough, we can make a great America an even better place in which to live.
Senator Birch Bayh died this morning at the age of 91. Governor Holcomb issued this statement calling Senator Bayh, quote, a trailblazer who dedicated himself to improving the lives of all Hoosiers. His remarkable legislative and personal legacy transformed the country and will live on for years to come, end quote. And tonight, American flags are flying at half-staff across the state in honor of Birch Bayh. Governor Holcomb made that order today, and he says flags should be lowered from now until sunset on the day of Bayh's funeral, which has not yet been announced. Investigators are trying to figure out what sparked a fire that left one man dead. This is on the south side, just south of downtown, at the corner of Orange and Alabama Streets, just east of Madison Avenue. Fire crews tell us 2 women were able to escape the fire, but a 60-year-old man did not get out and died at the scene. Firefighters also say the home did not have working smoke detectors. The victim hasn't been identified yet. Ahead on the Now Indy at 5:30, how do you avoid becoming the victim of a virtual kidnapping? Sounds like an odd question, but tonight there's a warning out to make sure you don't end up losing thousands of dollars. And up next here at 5, the measles and the mumps, an outbreak of one disease in Bloomington, and the other virus is inching its way toward Indiana. The concerns doctors have tonight.
And the severe weather threat is ending. That burst of sunshine that we've had has boosted our temperature to 71. The pattern change is not far away. See where we're headed? We'll talk about your weekend coming up.
Click, call, or visit an Xfinity store today.
Indiana medical professionals are concerned since the start of a measles outbreak. There's been an unprecedented number of cases, and many of those cases have been in Washington state. But more recently, there have been outbreaks in nearby states. Working for you, our Alyssa Donovan explains local doctors are worried it will pop up here.
There have been 228 confirmed cases in 12 states since the start of the year, including cases in neighboring states, Illinois and Kentucky.
We're certainly worried about it here in Indiana.
Dr. Jim Wood at Riley Hospital says there have been a few scares, but no confirmed cases of measles in the state. The main symptoms of measles include cough, congestion, red eyes, and fever, and a rash that spreads from your face along your body. The majority of people who have been infected were not vaccinated. According to the CDC, the MMR vaccine is the most effective way to prevent measles. However, many people choose not to vaccinate because they're concerned about side effects.
Most of the things that we talk to families about are kind of long-term effects of the vaccine, and we do know from a lot of studies that have been done that it's a very safe vaccine.
Prior to the MMR vaccine, 500,000 cases of measles were reported every year in the U.S.
We haven't seen it in the U.S. very often in a long time, but it's certainly something we worry about as something that can cause kids to have to come into the hospital and even cause death.
Doctors are also worried that these outbreaks are just the start.
The biggest concern we have is that although we've kind of eradicated it from the U.S. in terms of it coming every season or every year, we do worry that it could come back.
I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
And as we've reported, state health officials say a third student at IU Bloomington has been diagnosed with the mumps. In the most recent case, the student lived off campus, just like the two other students who are also roommates. It's unknown if the third student had contact with the other two. Since mumps is an issue at IU, Dr. Jim Wood at Riley Hospital for Children also told us what you need to watch for with this viral illness.
Mumps is a virus that can be spread person to person. The main symptoms with that include fever, it can cause cough, and the main thing is swelling of your face. And so there's a salivary gland or a gland in your cheek. We call that parotitis, and that is one of the main signs of mumps, and that's kind of one of the cardinal symptoms that we look for.
Doctors say one way to protect yourself against mumps is to get vaccinated. It's going to be a tense few days for the IU Hoosiers basketball team. That's because Indiana lost in the second round of the Big Ten tournament to Ohio State this afternoon. IU and Ohio State are both NCAA tournament bubble teams. Some say this loss could keep the Hoosiers from the big dance. Others say it's too early to know. We'll find out for sure on Selection Sunday. For the second time, Paul George is returning to Indiana after the Pacers traded him to Oklahoma City Thunder, getting Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis in return. The big question, what kind of response will George get tonight from fans? Will it be the same as 2017 when fans booed, which is what you just heard there? That's the side story. The big story, the Pacers will try to keep the momentum going from their win earlier this week against the Knicks. And every game is big because the blue and gold are pushing toward the playoffs. Tip-off is at 7 tonight at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. The Republican-led Senate strikes down President Trump's declaration of a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexican border. Republicans think that today's vote will result in Congress sending the president a resolution blocking the border emergency he proclaimed last month to steer an extra $3.6 billion to building a border wall. Since the Democratic-controlled House approved the measure last month, the Senate vote would force the commander-in-chief to use a veto to get that funding for a border wall. ABC's Serena Marshall with the latest tonight.
Are there any
a stunning rebuke of the president from within his own caucus?
If not, the yeas are 59, the nays are 41. The joint resolution is passed.
12 Republicans crossing the aisle and voting with Democrats to cancel the president's emergency declaration that redirected $3.5 billion from the Pentagon to his border wall. For supporters of the bill, it's about the Constitution.
This will be a vote about the very nature of our Constitution, our separation of powers, and how this government functions henceforth.
A sentiment echoed by Republicans.
For me, this is a constitutional question.
Tennessee Republican Lamar Alexander saying the founders gave the power of the purse to Congress to limit president's power.
Never before has a president asked for funding, the Congress has not provided it, and then the president has used the National Emergencies Act of 1976 to spend the money anyway.
The president, though, disagrees, arguing the Constitution has nothing to do with it.
It's very important. It's really a border security vote. It's pure and simple. It's a vote for border security. Do a veto, it's not going to be overturned.
After saying for weeks before the order was made that such a move would set a bad precedent, today the majority leader standing with the president.
He has simply operated within existing law. If Congress has grown uneasy with this new law, as many have, then we should amend it.
With neither